coming to you live from Numancia, Aklan, in Western Visayas in the Philippines. Let me just check this, make sure I'm online here. Make sure, I don't want to be talking and I'm not on live. All right, looks like it went on live right here. All right, looks like I'm on live. I'm live. I'm having my morning cup of coffee in my coffee with Gino cup here. My Copico Blanca. Copico Blanca is my choice of 3-in-1 coffee here in the Philippines. It's coffee, cream, and sugar all in one in this sachet. Little packet right here. Cost me about 80 pesos for a 10 pack. So about 8 pesos each, about $1.50 for 10 cups of coffee here in the Philippines. Good morning, morning, Edgar. Edgar and I have been chatting this morning already. Good to see you as always, my brother. Appreciate you joining the live stream. Yo, my good friend Tim in Las Vegas. It was awesome last night. I was catching up with Tim last night from Las Vegas. He gave me a call. He texted me first. I said, hey man, are you available? So we haven't talked in a while, maybe a month. Usually Tim and I, we update each other on what's going on in our life. He's become a really good friend. I like my conversations with Tim. I've always he keeps me updated with what's going on in the U.S. I'm getting a feel of he lives in Vegas, so it's getting a feel of how life it is in the United States, because I've been gone. I've been gone from the U.S. for so long now, 14 years. So really, I'm really far removed from the United States already. I watch the news, on my YouTube, on my Facebook, but I'm no longer there. So I know many things. Many things have changed in the United States since I left the United States. It's like I was mentioning before, all that woke, that DEI, all that stuff. That was before my time, man. It's like when I was in the U.S., I never heard of that. I had to actually Google it and to figure out what all these new terminologies now that they have in the U.S. Even like that binary, all this gender stuff. Man, when I left in 2011, they didn't have none of that. It's like, but I'm adapting, I'm learning. It's like it's the world we live in. You have to adapt to things that change. It's like in order to be to understand people. Understand where people are coming from. J-Boy, hey J-Boy, good morning J-Boy, and the chat. Thank you J-Boy. For joining the live stream. Copico no blanco. I like mine black. All right. I've seen that. I've seen the Copico black, man. I've seen that. I've had enough black coffee, brother. When I was in the military, that's all we drank was coffee black, because in the military, you were trying to stay awake. The reason why you're drinking a lot of coffee, man, I used to drink 5-6 cups of coffee in a 12-hour shift. Now this is my 1 cup a day. That's after this 1 cup, I'm done for the day. Everything in moderation for me now. I'm trying to keep myself healthy. I don't abuse sugar. I don't abuse alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't eat fried foods now. I'm careful what I put on my body now. Trying to stay as healthy as I can. I exercise. I do a lot of walking. I hit the gym. So just trying to do everything. I can to stand healthy and upright, stand upright. Busy morning already for me. Right there, the pot, right there, let me see, yeah, right there. I'm cooking the sinigang. I had bought ribs. We had ribs the other night, pork ribs. I put some sweet baby rays on it, baked it in the oven, came out delicious. And it was enough ribs, there was enough of it that I had to split it. I cooked the ribs for one meal, and this will be our lunch today. I already have it simmering. I put onions on it, tomato, the tamarind powder. The tamarind powder, it's that sinigang. Sinigang makes it sour. I got some kangkong right there. I got some kangkong. Kangkong is water spinach, and I also have some eggplant. I also put taro. There's also taro in there. So that'll be our lunch. That'll be our lunch. I'm trying to get everything done because at 10 a.m. I'm bringing the car in to Toyota Aklan in Numancia here for its routine maintenance. I always take it to the dealership. I don't change my own oil. I don't do that. I don't take it to anybody else. I take all the service in my car is with Toyota Numancia, Toyota Aklan. The car's got about 43,000 kilometers. You know, that's not even, I'm thinking that's not even like maybe 25,000 miles for 2019. We bought it brand new, 2019 Toyota Wigo. That's why it's running in great shape, you know, but I always like to keep the maintenance on time. They usually send me a message to say, hey sir, it's time for your oil change. You know, so I'll take it there at 10 o'clock. I have an appointment there at 10 o'clock. They have a nice waiting area there, free coffee, free Wi-Fi. I might even do a video while I'm there, see if they have new vehicles. If they have new vehicles, the 2026, you know, the 2026 Toyotas might be out already. So I'm gonna see if I can film some of that. Maybe show you how much the vehicles are here in our province of Aklan. Let me just make sure I don't get behind here. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Bill Meyer. Good morning. I'm moderator. Hey, six pots a day, six cups. Hopefully, not pots. You know, that's all. You know, six cups. Hey, that's you know, I used to drink coffee like that. I was hospital personnel pretty much all my life. I worked in, you know, in the military hospitals. I worked for 20 years. And then when I got out of the military, another 7 years with St. Mary's Hospital in Tucson, Arizona. I've worked graveyard shift before, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Brutal, you know, that's brutal on the body. You know, it's like you need a lot of coffee. You need a lot of coffee to stay awake when you're working the graveyard shift. Peanut Butter Travels here. All right, PBT, hello, PBT. Hey, James, oh, that's a new name, man. It's like, it used to be James Karen Avenger. Now it's James Tiberi. Good morning, James, my good friend James. Great video, man. I watched it this morning. First thing I had on my TV was like you know, man, Karen, man, she is really a pro on that motorbike. Even with Nanai on her back, you know, she's like doing this. I mean, man, I would eat it on that motorbike for sure. If I tried to even do that. If I even tried to do that, I would eat it, man. She's got like good balance, tippy-toeing with her slippers too. With her slippers, man, that's like climbing up the mountain. You know, it's like, really enjoyed that video, man. It's a great video James posted this morning. James and Karen's adventure. Just the farm life, the mountain life here. Man, that to me, man, James is living the life. You know, it's like I know he is living the life that he dreamed of, or the life that he exactly wants to live. You know, not not going to work every day with all kinds of employees, headaches with the supervisor, headaches with like your subordinates or your people. I mean, just like he's living in like a mountain, driving around in a farmland, you know, mountain life, man. It's just awesome. And then to end the day, to end the video, last night he went to Balete. Opening of lights of Balete was last night. Amazing fireworks, man. I'm trying to figure out, you know, I went to the Numancia, our town page. I went to the Calibo page. They're not posting what they are opening the lights for Calibo or Numancia yet, but I'll keep at it. And when I find out, James, I'll message you right away when the Calibo opening lights and the Numancia opening lights. Calibo opening lights is amazing every year. It's the same like remember, James, when you went to what was that opening salvo, man, it's gonna be like that at Pastrana Park. There's gonna be probably a performer or something, or there's gonna be they're gonna have a show of, you know, and the mayor is gonna be there for sure, the governor, and then amazing fireworks all the time there at Pastrana Park by the cathedral. But it's packed. The place, you know, it's like opening a lights at Calibo. It's every year that I've gone, it's just like At least you have a motorbike so you can get in and out of there. But for us, we'll probably have to park our car in the Numancia side and then walk the bridge to Pastrana Park. Happy Monday. Hey, everyone. All right, Daniel. All right, Daniel. Happy Monday. Happy Monday there. Tuesday morning here. But happy Monday. Happy Monday. Fox, find it. All right, Fox. All right, thank you. 3 cups a day for me. 3 cups, that's pretty good. Not bad, 3 cups, man. You know, like I said, man, I'm trying, everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Good morning, brother Daz. Like it's done. All right, thank you, Eugene. Appreciate that. Only 23 days to go. Man, it's just zooming by. I can't, it's like amazing how the days have just gone by so fast. Oh, let me do the weather real quick because looks like we got like sunny weather this morning here in Numancia. And today when I got up, I was out there like at 4:30. It was still dark outside. But man, it was chilly today, And I mean, for the Philippines, it's not like cold or anything, but you can feel like the cool air this morning. That's December feel. I'm definitely, even when mom came down here, she goes like, man, it's, she almost probably ready to put a jacket on. I was like, no, but it was nice. It was nice and cool this morning. Didn't even have to use the AC last night. The weather says here, again, no. I did go on the Windy app. I didn't see any, something looks like something is forming, but it's not, I guess they don't consider it a typhoon or anything like that. If you look on the Windy app, I don't know if you can see it, there's the Philippines. Something is kind of forming here near the Philippines, but it's not, they haven't declared it or anything that it will be like a storm or anything like that. But as far as the weather, it says here Mindanao, Batanes, Metro Manila, pretty much the same on all areas. It says cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms. And that's just the way it is here. Even right now here in Numancia, I'll show you outside here real quick so you can see our weather this morning. Even here when you go outside, even though it's like super sunny right now, it can rain here later on. There's just no telling. It's hard to tell whether we'll get sunshine all day, but you can see there the sun, bright sun. My neighbors here. Everybody's neighbor there, cleaning her area there, plants, gardening. Mom does the same thing. Mom does like 2 things. She's either taking care of her plants here. She's got a lot of potted plants here now, or doing laundry. Like, look at all the laundry Mom already has washed this morning. That's like her thing to do. And then me, like I said, I already made some pork sinigang is what I've made. Let me show you guys here what I'm cooking this morning. So I got the pork in there, the taro, potatoes, peppers. I got the eggplant here, and I got the water spinach, the kangkong. So that's for lunch today. But I'm gonna have to leave before 10 to go to the car dealership. So busy day for me today. And then after the car dealership, I don't know how long that's gonna be. After that, I pick up Leanne at school at 4, and then she got Kumon. I gotta take her to Kalibo. So busy day. Tuesdays are like a busy day for me, man. I got like, and then by the time Leanna and I come home from Kumon, that's usually my dinner time, and it's off to bed already because I sleep early. I get to bed before 8 p.m. Tim says, I have 30,006 on my 2023. But, okay, all right, on your vehicle, all right. Miles, okay. Yeah, see, that's still pretty low. I remember, man, when I drove in the United States, 10,000 miles was nothing. It's like in a year, you put that, easy because you do a lot of driving here. in Panay Island, the most I really would drive is going to Iloilo City, and it's only maybe 4 hour drive. I have taken our vehicle to Luzon. We drove it all the way to Baguio City, to Vigan, to Pagudpod in Ilocos Norte. So we've done that. We've even drove it to Dumaguete City. We took it on the ferry to Bacolod City and drove it to Dumaguete. And even with that, for a 2019, 2019 vehicle, 6 years now, we only have like 43 kilometers. That's like 25,000 miles on it. You have more mileage on your car for a 2023, Tim, for me, because there's just not many places we drive. And even here, we drive Bumblebee a lot, our tricycle, we use Bumblebee more. The car we really use for long driving if we have to go far, or if it's raining. We do take our car. Hey man, stay safe. All right, thank you. Toby. Also to James. All right, James and Karen's. Also a shout out to James and Karen's Adventure. Frexy. All right, hello, done. All right. Hey, John Vasquez. All right. Hey, man, I added like an alien, your logo. I added that logo to my custom emojis on our channel. A for Apple. All right. That's funny, man. All right. Today, I always try to come up with a topic every day. And this topic today, I got the idea to do this topic because I got this comment and I replied to the comment. The comment said here, can you do a video on buying land and building a home? My wife and I were just discussing maybe doing this, but what to look out for, or companies to use, or pricing. It's like a pretty lengthy question there regarding buying land and buying a home. So that's going to be my discussion this morning. And feel free if you got anything to share regarding your experience. If you have any experience buying land here or buying a house here. One thing I would say with buying land and buying house here in the Philippines, it is not the same as buying a house or buying land in the United States. A lot more complicated here, a lot of risk involved. There's a lot of with the land titles here, house titles being contested. You really need to hire a lawyer here when you're buying property. That would be the safest move. It's not the same in the United States. Where in the United States, I've bought homes in the United States before. You could go online. There's like MLS listing. You can find comparison how much houses are in the different areas of the United States. I can do that now from the Philippines. I can go online and I can go Tucson, Arizona. What's on sale in different parts of Tucson, Arizona? What's the price range? Listings of homes for sale. That way, if you like that neighborhood, the school in that neighborhood. Here in the Philippines, there's none of that. I've not seen a listing here of any kind. There are no comparisons or what they call comps. So I understand, a lot of people, they buy land, they buy houses in the United States. A lot of it is for investment. You're figuring, well, if I'm going to live there 5-10 years, I might as well buy a home and then I'll get rid of it and sell for profit. And that's why I know that it's like the interest of, as far as like buying a land or buying a house. To me, that dynamic doesn't really apply here in the Philippines. If you're thinking you're buying a home here to flip it, I just don't see it going to be a profitable for you to flip homes here. Just because, if anything, it's going to be more headache and stress for you. Buying land and buying a house here in the Philippines is very stressful. That's what I've learned. That's what I've seen from other people. It is not easy. It is not. And the worst part of it is there's scams all over here as far as land. And there's land, there's apartments, houses, there's land, even in Boracay Island that were sold to foreigners. Come to find out, the person that sold it to them didn't own the land. You know, the DENR owns it, and now DENR, the Department of the Environment here in the Philippines, they took over. They shut down the house. People from Canada, people from England lost their basically retirement money. Things like that happen here. So, I always tell people, I do not recommend buying in the Philippines. If you really are dead set on buying here in the Philippines land or buying here to build your home, live in the area first for at least 1 year. That is my recommendation, and I'm sticking to it. That's always been my recommendation. Go to the area where you want to buy land, live there for 1 year, rent, and then familiarize yourself with the area, familiarize with the thing that you want to buy there, either property or a house that you're interested. Do not buy it right away without even living in the area. I have seen so many people here regret that. I have seen so many people that end up going back to the United States, and the houses here, it's so hard to sell. It's easy to buy in the Philippines, so that's why I always tell people there should be no rush in buying. So easy to buy. Selling is another story. I see how homes here, even here in our community here, homes here that are abandoned, shut down or whatever, for sale, and they stay for sale for years and years. You just don't have the amount of buyers here, or the buyers that would have the cash too. The bigger home you have, the harder it is to sell, because who's gonna have that kind of cash here in the Philippines? A lot of times people here, like in our community here, like my neighbors, one of them, they buy it from the one that sell, but they just make an agreement on like payments to pay off their loan. So, it's hard to find, if you sink money into a house here and you're thinking you're gonna get your money back quick and with a profit, just hard for that to happen here in the Philippines. Aloha from Hawaii, Derek. All right. And I think you've seen many, even vloggers. Watched vloggers, that's been here in the Philippines, right? They buy land here, they try to build, headache, right? It's like even on their videos, you can tell they're worried about the title, there's stress involved with that. So why even put yourself in that situation if you're retiring already? Like I said, so much easier to just rent here. If you're thinking of that, if you're thinking, well, I want to buy so I can sell it for profit someday, it's like it doesn't really, the land and houses here doesn't really appreciate like it is in the United States, where you can make money, in my opinion. Oh my God, like you got, love you, man. Sarcasm? All right, sarcasm? All right. I'm really not sarcastic. I'm really not sarcastic, but if you think so, no worries. Edgar, do you think Kumon is better than a private school? For me, it depends on the private school, Edgar. It's all private school in the Philippines is not equal. I know the private school in Manila. I attended one in Letron College, my elementary years. Top-notch, one of the top-notch schools in Manila. You got Ateneo, you got Letron, Ateneo, De La Salle. There's several private schools in the Philippines that are top-notch. Iloilo's got it, Ateneo de Iloilo. The problem you run into, Edgar, is a lot of these private schools, like in Calibo, they say private schools, but they're not in the level of like Letron or Ateneo or De La Salle, or they're not at the level because the instructors that they got, it's like the teachers that they hire, they're just more advanced in Manila. To be hired at like a big private school in Manila, you got to have your ducks in a row. You got to have a good resume. You got to present yourself well. Here in the province, it's a step down. But if you're worried about like the private school, between private and public, of course, the private in Calibo would be better than any public school. Any public schools here, basically, they're just getting the kids to get by. There's there's so many kids in private school. It's free. It's like you get what you pay for, right? It's free. You get what you pay for. You get a better education in Calibo in a private school. But if I had to compare, like at the private school at in Calibo compared to Kumon, I would go with Kumon because Kumon is like more focused on the kid, and they're really focusing on math, English, and reading. To me, that's like the core. What's important. That's my opinion now. The other stuff they do in school here, the dancing, the singing, all that, I don't know, intramural sports, it's like, yeah, it creates a whole person, like a whole kid, develop a kid. But the bottom line, once you hit college, and I saw it when I attended college at STI College Calibo, I could tell which of my classmates went to a private school or had Kumon compared to just the ones that had public school system here. You can just tell the difference. You can tell the confidence. You can tell, I had classmates that would be like afraid to stand in front of the classroom and speak or present something, but if I had a choice between Kumon and private school in Calibo, Edgar, I would go Kumon. Kumon, it's like, I'm sold on Kumon. It's like great for the kid. It's not cheap, but by any word, it's like 4,300 pesos a month, about $80 a month for Kumon. So you do that 10 months for $80, that's 800 a year. So, it's not, and 2 days, it's only 2 days a week you take your kid to Kumon. So, not cheap. Thanks for catching. Appreciate it. All right, Aaron. Ruben, hey, good morning, Ruben. Hey, good morning, my brother. What's up, Ruben? Back in Calibo. Ruben's back in Calibo. All right. Charlie, hey, Charlie Letts. Good morning, Charlie Letts, my good friend in Boston. LV, Ted, Journeys from Bohol. Good morning. Suggestion, if buying land, house, it's worth spending the money on a good lawyer to look. Thank you for that, Ted. It's like a very first thing I mentioned earlier. Get a lawyer here in the Philippines, and somebody, you want somebody on your side checking on the title, the legitimacy of the title. If it's like, there's phony titles here, there's landowners that like contested, there's like actually when Dazzle had to go process to buy the land in Katiklan that we buy, you have to go to like the regional court here in Calibo to see if there's any cases filed against that land, if somebody's contesting that land. You got to go to the DENR. You got to go to like the title registry. Dazzle had to go to the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the BIR, to see if there's any taxes. I mean, it's just like so complicated with all the agencies that you have to check here. The most expats here that I know, they built a land they'll build their house on land that their Filipina wife or their Filipina wife's family already own. They already have houses there. Usually it's a compound. Or a family member. They basically buy the land for somebody they know, because it's just a big chance when you buy land here from somebody that you don't know. It's like they could be hiding. It's not like in the US, right? When you're buying a house, they're supposed to declare the warts. They're supposed to declare the warts on that house. They're supposed to declare if it's a flood zone, if it's something wrong with the house, or if somebody died in the house. They're supposed to declare that. Here, they will hide that stuff from you. They're not obligated to declare anything that is wrong with that land or that house. Like I said, different dynamic when buying a home here. And to me, the whole, the reason, I think I did a video, I did a short. The reason a lot of us, like me, I'm retired, I'll be 60 next year. The reason why we buy a home is like, I'm a lot older than Dazzle. When I die, I want this house is going to be paid off. I have mortgage insurance on the 4.5 years that's left on the payment. So she'll own this home outright. Our land in Caticlans is under Dazzle's. I want to leave her property. I want to leave her a nest egg. I want, my life insurance. I want to leave her with that. But to me, if you're thinking of buying a home and you're already retired, and if you're not going to be if you're gone, if your spouse is about the same age, or a lot of times what I see, a lot of like my Filipino American friends, a lot of them, their kids are in the United States and they buy a home here or they own a home here. A lot of times their kids don't want to come back here. A lot of times their kids, it will be just a headache for their kids to sell the home because they're all the way in the United States. I see it happen so many times. There's like Filipino American friends of mine that have homes here, and when they pass away, or it's a problem selling it, because nobody wants to come back, like from the U.S. to move back here. It's rare now. It's rare to see that, like especially if the kids have grown up in the United States, they're Americanized. I just don't see them coming back here to the Philippines. And I think HD, maybe I saw HD. He's coming back here, living at his mom's property. But you rarely see that. You rarely see an American, even a Filipino American that's in the U.S., that's got a life there, that would go back here. The ones that grew up, like me, like for me, that I grew up in the U.S. There's not really many of us. A lot of times, I think because the spouse, the spouse in the United States, a lot of times a Filipina. Usually the guys, the males are the one that going to go back to the Philippines. It's the women, the Filipina women in the United States. A lot of times they do not want to come back to the Philippines because they're so used to the American lifestyle. They're so used to like the convenience. They have their own car. They can drive to the mall. They can get their nails done. Here, it's harder to do. You can do that here, but it's not the same dynamic because they don't have the same independence, because they're worried about the driving here. A lot of times they got to hire a driver. Somebody's got to take them. They just don't have the same the freedom getting around here. I think, just again, my opinion, just my observation. U110. All right. I don't know what that is, Trey. Don't know what that is. Tim, 185 USD a month for Kumon in Las Vegas. Your kid goes twice a week with homework on the other days. Man, 100, so more than double for Kumon. Man, that's expensive. I thought $80 was expensive here in the Philippines. Yes, Leanna goes Tuesdays now and Saturdays. When she goes to Kumon, she's there for an hour and a half, and they go through lessons with her in math, English, reading and comprehension. She gets homework. She turns in the homework on Saturday, and then they go over the homework, and then more class time. Usually 1-to-1, but they don't have more. One teacher with 3 kids is the most. So one teacher is focused with like 3 kids.
I smell masarap.
Mom is smelling.
Smell in the box.
Mom is smelling my sinigang. Sinigang. She's getting hungry. For my sinigang.
Smell it.
Fortune, good AM, Gino fam and the Panay Posse. All right, Fortune. Good morning, Fortune from Edgar. Good AM, Edgar, J-Boy, James and Karen, John V, Ruben, Derek, Charlie, and Ted. All right, everybody's like, man, it sounds like everybody's here. Everybody's here for the live stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody's time. Official channel, hello, official channel. I like the balete lighting last night. I know I did. I enjoyed that too, man. I enjoyed watching that. Oh, I didn't see the live. I saw the video. But I didn't catch the live. I was already asleep, man. It's like, me, Fortune. I sleep early. I'll stay awake for when they do the Kalibo opening a lights and maybe the Mancha, when they schedule it. I do not have the schedule yet. Mom, do you know when they're gonna have that? Numancia or Kalibo?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right, let me know if you find out. I'm trying to find out when are opening a lights in Numancia and Kalibo. It's got to be soon because we're already in December. Usually these things happen on the first week of December. And I know when I went to Pastrana Park, I even made a video the other day. All the lights are already at Pastrana Park. I'll have to go to Pastrana Park at night just to see if they turn on the lights already at Pastrana Park. Good morning, Gino and friends. Something simple. All right. My good friend Michael S. in Dumaguete City with Che. Michael and Che. All right. Fox 40. All right. Edgar, Kumon is not like a private school. It only covers math and reading. It's independent teaching. They are just supervised, but it's the kid that does everything. Yeah. Leanna has to do all the work for sure. And I check her work, make sure the things that she turns in. I still have to check what she's doing at Kumon. You can say it complements a private school, additional, but makes you advance faster than a private school. Yeah, I think that's the thing I see with Leanna Fortune, because when you're in a group of kids, 36 kids in her class, it's hard to advance because the teacher's got to pace everybody, right? The teacher got to make sure nobody's getting left behind. Where in Kumon, it's up to Leanna. It's with the teacher how fast she's gonna progress, and really the progression is endless. There's really no deadline. She can go as high as she wants with mathematics, with reading comprehension, and with English. That's what I like about it. Agreed, Fortune, agreed. All right, Tim said agreed. Extra rice for the sinigang. Extra rice.
That's why it's rice, really.
See, mom's already cooking us rice. Fortune. She's adding a cup. She's adding a cup of rice. Extra rice. Better to hire an in-home tutor maid. Oh yeah, if you can find one, if you can find a in-home tutor, there are people, I know, college kids, the smart kids in college in Calibo, they may offer their services. I don't know about a maid. If you hire a maid would have the knowledge with math and all that. But I'm sure, it's just hard to, what you're saying, tutor/maid. That would be kind of hard. Most of the time, the domestic helpers here, they're not going to be advanced with their math skills, science skills, and English skills. So maybe separate. Maybe a maid and then maybe a tutor separate. Maybe. Edgar, public schools, I just see the kid needs something much more serious. Yes, Edgar. And I realized that the minute Leanna, she's been with us now for 3 years. It's the minute I saw what the public schools here taught, I was, helping her with her schoolwork, adding, coming up with lessons myself, working on her English. But I still, Kumon does a better job than me. The Kumon they're professionals. They know what they're doing. Me, I was just trying to, add information for Leanna. And then I even struggle with the math because I haven't been in college since I graduated at SCI 2016. So, you forget some of the math, even the simple problem solving, fractions even, or, now algebra, it's I have to work at it, just to relearn it so I can teach it to Leanna. It's just easier for Kumon. Like I said, it's not cheap though. It's not cheap. Kumon's not. It's not inexpensive. Good AM, Michael S. from Fortune. Tonton even went live. Oh, I didn't see Tonton's live, but he needs James teach him the style and confidence. Yeah, that takes time, man. It's people think YouTube's easy. It takes time, and some people, the personality. If you're a shy type, if you're not outgoing, it's not, it's not easy. It's to me, YouTube, you really have to have, you have to be an introvert. You have to have the personality to talk live or even make videos, because people, they want, they want to be entertain, they're looking for entertainment. People are, you want to be interesting, entertaining for people to watch you. John Vasquez, hi. Michael S. All right, Dash. I want to hear your thoughts on rubber bands. I have not seen a rubber band in a while, man. That's funny. That's an odd question, man. Balete was festive and colorful. Even oh yeah, the Ati-Atian tribes. You see that in Aklan province. Any event here, Fortune, you will see. I mean, because they're practicing anyway. All the bands are practicing for January, so they get hired to like do the different events here during the holidays. James Krabil. Good morning, Gino. Hey, good morning, James Krabil. JP, hello, Gino and the posse. All right, hello, JP. Good morning, Fortune from Michael S. Edgar, hello, lazy boy. Yeah, lazy boy. Lazy boy, call him lazy boy, JP. Better college kids offering tutoring. Yeah, that's my idea. You know, it's like because I know we have one neighbor here. He was a college. He's a graduate now, but when he was still in college, he was like one of the top students in his school. So he's known in the neighborhood. Oh yeah, he's a good tutor. So the different people here in the neighborhood would hire him because he's like cum laude. You know, like the cum laude kid. You know, cum laude kids means that they're like the top 1%, the top 1% in their college class. So you want to hire those kids to be teaching your kid. You know, at least, inspiration for your kid too. Like, somebody that's like on the top 1% of their class. My bad, Edgar. I had to run to town. Tauntaun is learning. Yes. I'm sure James is helping Tauntaun. I'm sure it takes time. The more he does it, the more comfortable he'll get doing the live streams for sure, or anything that he does on YouTube. The main thing I see when I've seen videos of Tauntaun, he's a good guy. He's an honest guy, genuine guy, and that resonates with people. It's like people like that. Me, I like watching people that are positive. It's like good people. I like watching good people. The tutored in the 90s for Philippine science kids, I was getting 150 per hour then. Hey, it's... Man, that's awesome, man. Back in the day, man, 150 pesos per hour. That's pretty good. JP. Fortune. Good AM, JP, Jumbie, and my alien abduction plan is asked to drive. He will learn, James. Just guide him. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure. James got Tauntaun. He'll assist him for sure. He knows people. He can do walking interview. Oh man, that might be a good one. Walking interview. Yeah. He'll be comfortable coming up to people. Hey, Kumon is a Japanese company from Osaka originally, I think. All right, happy in Japan. John V says, James and Karen. All right, JP. Hello, Master Yoda. James and Karen. Edgar, Fox. Michael S. Ruben from JP. Right, Happy. Invented by Toru Kumon. He was a university professor. One day his son was having difficulty in math, so he gave him homework, worksheets. All right. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that, guys. I used to tutor chemistry in college, but that was back when there were only 4 elements: fire, water. That's funny. JV. That evolved into Kumon method. All right. Additional. Tauntaun is a nice. Yes, you could tell, man. You could tell Tauntaun's a good guy. All Karen family. He can do anything. Yep. For sure. Michael S. Hey, John. Edgar says, oh, I shared pandesal with Gray. Oh, for the first time. All right. I'm glad. He loved it. He said never had that good bread before in the Philippines. I don't understand, man. Great, man. Why wasn't he trying it before? But I'm glad you shared. I'm glad you shared with Gray, Edgar. Thank you for sharing your pandesal with Gray. Now he knows that pandesal is good. Now he can get it pandesal during the mornings. Good morning, Philippines. All right, Colonel. Thank you for joining the live stream, Colonel. Something. Hey, JP, Fortune. Hello. All right. Good morning to all our friends. All right. Let me just. And I was talking earlier, like I said, about buying land or building a home. Like I said, a lot of expats I know, the land usually the Filipina already owns the property, or the Filipina's family, and then the expat just builds the home because he that's his wife anyway. To me, it makes sense because if he's gone, at least the house is already. Belongs to his wife. And then a lot of times if you're living like in a compound, like our land is right next door to mom's house and land in Katiklan and Nene, they're already there. So when I'm gone, I want Dazzle to be with family when I'm gone, because I know they will take good care of her. But the person was asking me about if there's companies that you can use here in the Philippines. You don't really see a real estate. Kalibo, I have not seen like a real estate company or real estate a licensed realtor. You don't really see that here. A lot of times, people sell land or homes here. They're just agents. They're not licensed realtors, like in the United States. A lot of times, it's a third party. They know somebody. They just put the ad on Facebook. In order to you to become a licensed realtor here in the Philippines, you have to go to college for 4 years. I did research on that before. There's actually a bachelor's degree in real estate management, or that you have to complete, and then you have to be licensed. You have to be a professional. So very few of those. It's not like in the U.S. where you have a lot of state by state. You have you got to go to school, maybe a few months, take the test, get licensed by the state, and you have a certificate that you're a licensed realtor. Here, people, just about anybody I know sells land there. Even my neighbors be like, hey, I'm selling this house. I'm selling, they're just selling it to get a cut, to get a commission. It's really, like I would say, very complicated to buy a land or buy a house here. That's why you have to hire an attorney, like Ted was saying. You have to go through an attorney's office here, just so you can dot the I's and cross the T's, make sure that it's a legit transaction, verify the documents, IDs, government IDs. It's like so many things can go sideways here when you're buying land and buying a home. That's why I always tell people, man, if you don't want to stress, just rent. If you don't want the stress. And for pricing, it's difficult to find pricing. Like even here at Camellia Land, there's over 300 homes here. This type of house that I have, you can see, it's like 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 430 square foot. There's several of these units called the Arena. There's about, I would say in our neighborhood here, at least 25 of these units. So you would think if one of them sell it, you can kind of base that sale. You can base if I'm selling my house. But the problem here in the Philippines, when these people sell, even in our community, all the sales are private. It doesn't get advertised, or it doesn't get posted in a listing. Oh, this house sold for 2.5 million on this date. Here's the it's for how big it is, how what additions. There's no listings like that where you can check, so you can compare. Like me, if I wanted to sell my house, I would just be coming up with a number. I can ask around what my neighbors sold their house, but it's all transactions here. People like to keep it private, because even when they sell it, a lot of times it's either cash or sometimes it's installments. And then the installments could be 3-year installment. It could be 5-year installment. It'll be up to like the person selling and the person buying. Or I've heard like people here, they assume the loan. right? Like the person selling the house still, let's say five, like me, I have 4.5 years left on my mortgage. The person that's buying, they can just assume my loan. We can go to the attorney's office, write a document that they're going to pay my mortgage, and when it's paid off, they get the title. And then what I have equity already here, that's what we negotiate. They can either give me cash on my equity, or they can installments on my equity. That's why it's so complicated. You can't, it's not an easy process here. You have to go through an attorney's office. So many factors go into play as far as buying land and buying a home here. Let me just see. All right. I think that was it. I was just going to cover that really fast. I get that question all the time, though. I get question. As a matter of fact, I have another email. This gentleman, he bought land. He fenced the land. It's like a big land too, like 1,000 square meters. He fenced it, but he was so stressed just by building the wall. He bought 1,000 square meters, and just to wall it, he got stressed because the expense kept going up. Just to wall it. A wall that's made of cement, hollow blocks, rebar steel, 1,000 square meter lot, and it cost him money already. And he built a gate and the wall cost him a lot of money already. So he's having second thoughts about building a home because he was already stressed just building the wall. Imagine if you build a house inside that compound. What kind of headaches. And I have yet to meet anybody here in the Philippines that actually built a home where they did not get stressed. That's the other issue you're going to run into because there's no inspectors here. I guess there's a pro and con with that, right? When there's no inspectors, you can pretty much build whatever you can design it, you can build it the way you want. Your house can look whatever, it could be like custom made to your preference. But there's no agency that will be checking is this foundation good, or is this wall bearing wall okay? Is it gonna hold the second floor? There's no agency here in the Philippines that would be checking. And if there were, a lot of times, with government agencies here, you're gonna run into corruption. You're gonna run into how legitimate the inspection would be anyway. Maybe that's why there's really no housing inspector. Like I know in the U.S., right? I bought homes before in the U.S. Before you close on the sale, there's a house inspection. Somebody's going to inspect the house, and somebody's going to check everything in the house, whether the water heater, whether there's something wrong with the house. You're going to be handed a house inspection before you purchase a home. There's nothing like that here in the Philippines. So you're really buying a home here as is. You're trusting whoever built it that they built it right if you're buying a home here. Sunshine and coffee this morning, Gino. All right, cheers, Michael S. Hey man, can't beat that, right? Sunshine and coffee, that's more than what we can ask every day when we get sunshine and coffee. Pandesal in the morning is great. Hot and freshly made. Yes. I didn't buy pandesal I kind of break it, I don't get it every day. When I bought it the other day, I might wait another couple of days and I'll buy it again. Is it still on, Mom? Or did you turn off the thing already?
On?
On?
Turn off ba?
Yeah, you can just put the vegetables now. I think
Okay.
yeah, then that should be good. Thanks, Mom. JP, I don't eat that much bread, but would be more than happy to buy a bag or two and share the pandesal. Pandesal up. Hey man, you're gonna make friends with that. JP, you're sharing the pandesal. You're gonna make friends with that. Did AM Colonel Fortune? You can eat pandesal plain, and you can put filling like peanut butter. Peanut butter is one of my favorite to put on my pandesal. Cheese whiz, yeah, I've done that, but peanut butter usually is like my go-to on my pandesal. Even butter, or even put sausage. It's you can put anything. You can pretty much make a sandwich out of the pandesal. You can put anything on a pandesal. Because in the afternoon, it's usually that you get more creative because you got to heat up the pandesal. I heat it up in the toaster. I got like a toaster right there. So that's when I get creative. That's when I get like a put more than just peanut butter on it. The Colonel, Fortune, JP, Michael, and Edgar. All right, all right. I watched the Dazzle TV videos this morning and where Dazzle purchased the land. What were you guys doing? Sleeping? Sleeping? Oh yeah, it's like Dazzle's still sleeping right now. Me, I woke up pretty early. I think I was up by 4 a.m., but I was in bed by 8 p.m. last night. I get a lot done during the morning. That's kind of like even editing videos. And then my walk, I throw in my walk, and then getting Leanna to school. So pretty busy, pretty busy for me. That's busy for a retired guy like me. That's it gives me something to do. Like today. It's like at 10 I got to take the vehicle, and then at 4 I got to pick up Leanna at school. That's a full day for me, man. That's a full day for me already. It's like because when I take my car, I'll wait for my car there. They have a nice waiting area there, free coffee. I'll make a video the vehicle that they have there so I can show you guys what vehicles they have. So I'll just chill there, answer people, correspond with people. So if it takes them hour, 2 hours, whatever time they do the process, them I'm fine. And what I like about Toyota Aklan, every time I take my car in for service, I get a free car wash. They vacuum everything. They wash my car. They tire black my tires. It's free, man. It's like I like it. That's why I like. And they have a nice waiting room. There's TV. They got like Calibo cable in their TV. I can like sit there, and usually that room where the TV is, there's a couch there. Usually I'm just the one sitting there because it's away from like the waiting area. But I use the room, It's like, and then I guess when people see me there, sometimes I set up my tripod and then I make a video there. They're afraid to like interrupt me, I guess. So it's like I pretty much like own the room when I go there. Fortune, no plan only. Edgar, plan only. All right. Fortune, Pinoy, dunk the. Oh yeah, I do that. I've shown that. Edgar, I love dunking my pandesal in my coffee. Made me think of my favorite motorcycle trip snack. Oh yeah, man. You know what, Jeep? I've not had that in so long. I remember that the can you squirt it on like a cracker. Man, I haven't had that since I've been here. The 14 years I've been here, I have not seen it in Calibo. I haven't seen that thing in the. I'm sure they might have some of it, like maybe in at SNR, but I have not seen those. You just reminded me that easy cheese. Similar. A Buddhist? No, I'm not a Buddhist. I'm Catholic. I'm not Buddhist. Nothing wrong with Buddhists. It's like you can have any religion you want, any belief you want. Nothing against it. It's like everybody's free to choose what they believe. It's like I respect everybody's beliefs. JP, I picked my seats on the Seattle. Oh, nice, man. All right, JP. Seoul, Korea, man. I've flown into Seoul before. It's like I lived in Korea for 1 year. So nice airport there. T. Melcher, we built a fence and a terrace at our house, mistakenly using the contractors who built the house. I was working in Manila at the time, so I wasn't there. But the foreman knew I was a foreigner and Uber. Yeah, overcharged. Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like when you're building and you're a foreigner building, that you might get overcharged a lot of times. Have your Filipina do all the talking, or that's why I said live in the area first. That way you meet Filipinos, you befriend the Filipinos in the area. Dazzle and I, we ran into the same problem when we moved here to Camellia Aklan in 2016. when they built our home, it's basically just the home. There's no tiles, there's no wall, there's no gate. We had to add that to our home when we moved in. And when we moved here, we didn't know anybody here in Numancia. You know, it's like we knew people in Calibo, my classmates. I actually asked my classmates, but we made one mistake because someone recommended a person to us, and I kind of trusted my classmate at the time, and the guy didn't work out. You know, he wasn't on the up and up. You know, that's why it's better if you have family members. That would be my recommendation. At least with family, you know, hey, you're the cousin, you're the uncle, you know, your chances of that person like doing you wrong is lower than somebody that's outside your family. So if you can contract somebody that's part of your wife's family, that's better. That would be my advice. JP, business class, only way to go. Long flight, lots of layovers. Edgar. I remember Edgar. Edgar flew in here business class and charged us. A few months later, we had to have another group of people come in and refortify the terrace, and they said that they would have done all the work. Good, 200 pesos less. Oh, I know. That's the thing, right? Because Team Melker, that's the thing here when you're building here. You're really trusting who's ever building it. There's no pricing. I mean, they'll show you like, okay, they're gonna write it down. Okay, I think we're gonna need 30 bags of cement. We're gonna need hollow blocks, this amount of hollow blocks, rebar steel. They're gonna show you. They're gonna list it for you and price it for you. But double check that price or make sure that they're not buying extra, because a lot of times they'll order more than the hollow blocks needed or more the cement needed, and you're gonna be stuck with like excess material. And of course, what are you gonna do with the material? You know, if you're done with the work, what are you gonna do with it? You can't leave it in your house, you know, so you're going like, you end up like, can you take this off my hands? And you know, and you don't know what deal they made with wherever they got the material. For me, it's best if you're the one going to like buy the cement. You know, you're the one paying. You know, but you know, if you're here, you could do that. But a lot of times, like Tim Melker, if you're not here while the build is not being done, you might get overcharged. You know, people unfortunately take advantage. Will take advantage of the situation. That's why I'm saying, building a home here, it will stress you. I have not met a single person here maybe somebody will claim on the live stream here that they weren't stressed, but I don't know how much truth that would be. You know, because I have not met a person in the Philippines that built anything here that did not get stressed, because you get stressed with like the people trying to overcharge you. They're not delivering on their completion date. They're not showing up at the date of like construction. You know, there's just so many things that will like, what the heck is going on? You know, it's like, and even like on the material, they'll tell you stuff like, we ordered your roofing, the metal roof, but they're saying it's on back order, or it's not available, or you gotta go with a different color. You know, it's just like so many things that will like, and of course, if you're the one paying for all this construction going on, and you know, you'll get stressed. The only thing people that might not get stressed, if you're building a home and you're not sinking a big amount of money in it. Like, let's say if you got money and maybe that build is only 10% of your money, I can see not being stressful. But if you're putting a big chunk of your retirement money into a home here, you will get stressed, because you know, you're watching the money, right? You're watching the expenses. You don't want to like be getting ripped off. You don't want, you know, excess expenses that you didn't have to pay. You know, it's like, it's common here, like Tim Melker is saying, they'll build you a window or something, and then when it's done, it's like wrong dimension, or the water coming in through the window. You know, they gotta like rebuild it or refortify it, like a balcony upstairs. They gotta like put more beams to support it. You know, too many things can go wrong. Too many things can go wrong here. Again, because it's not regulated. There's nobody inspecting the work. You're putting your hands into the contractor. It would be good if you got knowledge. Like I know Belus, my good friend Belus in Leyte, he knows a lot about construction. That would be good if you know, like me, I don't know nothing about construction. So that's why I went with Camellia Homes, because I figured they're a reputable builder, right? They build homes all over the Philippines. I figure at least there's a chance that they might do a good job. And even in this home, after it was complete, I was changing doorknobs, I was changing faucets, I was changing electric sockets, because whoever built the house, because it's a cookie cutter home, all the homes look the same. They were like buying the lowest quality doorknob, lowest quality electric socket, because they're scrimping on the bill, on the build, they're trying to lower, the contractor was lowering the bill. So I had to replace, but to me it was minor, I didn't mind replacing them because I wanted to put nicer things anyway in the house. Bob, you work at Wendy's? I did work at Wendy's at one time. That's why I like my Wendy's shirt. I was an employee of Wendy's a long time ago. One of my jobs in high school was working for I worked at Wendy's. I worked at Taco Bell during my high school years in the US. Also, when I joined the military, I delivered pizza for Domino's Pizza, because the military didn't pay me enough. As an airman, E1, going to E4, and then even when I became a staff sergeant, E5, the Air Force just didn't pay you enough. I mean, the back end is nice because we get a military pension, but my active duty years, that paycheck wasn't enough in the military. I had to eat. I remember delivering for Domino's. I used to bag groceries at the commissary. Some of the things I had to do, in order to save money. JP, Edgar, a seat in the back near the two and two bathroom, so you can get like the service from the stewardess. All right, JP. Seoul layover. Oh, that's nothing. 4 hours in Seoul, that's nothing, man. They'll fly by. They got nice restaurant. I'm sure they upgraded the airport there in Seoul. I'm sure it's a lot more modern than when the last time I saw that airport. JP, Kalibo, all right. I always look forward to what t-shirt you wear daily. Wendy, looking right at me. All right. Wendy's looking right at me. I kept it. I wish I had a Taco Bell shirt. I would wear that too, because it reminds me, man. I like wearing my Wendy's shirt because it reminds me flashbacks on my days working at Wendy's. JP, it's amazing how like little memories like that, it's like makes you appreciate, that's many long years ago, but I appreciate how that's where I started, and now I'm here, retired, just enjoying life. I like how my life turned out. I'm one of the blessed. I'm one of the few that are blessed. I'm thankful because I know not everybody gets to live the life that I live and be retired. It's like I've said many times, if you get to retire like JP, he recently retired from his job. Now he's retiring here in the Philippines, man. That is such a blessing because that is no longer given now. It's not guaranteed that you work all your life, in America, you work all your life in America, you get to Social Security age, you collect Social Security, and you can retire. Just live out your golden years. That's no longer a given now. Many people I know, it's like they're just like surviving on Social Security. JP, I identify as a gentleman. If they get tired and need to sit, I would be polite. JP, I would be polite. J-Boy, building a house in the Philippines, you become the project manager. You really do. If you're going to build a house, you need to be here. And you need to like watch your employees. You need to watch the workers. And tell you what, if you're watching the workers, a lot of times that you will get stressed, because Filipinos, you gotta, I understand it, I'm Filipino, so I understand it because, Filipinos, when they're construction workers, a lot of these foremen, whoever's the foreman, the guy in charge, he'll just hire whoever he can hire. These guys, like here in the province now, I mean, their salaries had increased some. I would say for a laborer, somebody that will mix cement, somebody will like lift the cement bags. I mean, all manual labor, right? I would say they probably earn about 500 pesos a day now, $9 a day. But man, now, 500 pesos, that's not a lot in the Philippines anymore. If that's your main income for a day, and a lot of times here on the construction people, they got to bring their lunch. They got to come up with their own lunch because my brother-in-law, Mac, he worked a little bit construction. Now he has another job in Boracay, but he did construction in Boracay. So he would like pack a lunch. And that was out of his own pocket, transportation to go to Boracay, and then he had to work. In the work, man, if you can imagine, it's not like 8-hour work here, like construction. You're out in the sun here, either sun or rain, but the heat. A lot of times you see construction guys here, they use their t-shirt, they wrap it, on their head. Like all you can see is their eyes. One day I'll show you guys how they do that. They tie it on the back. So to protect themselves from the sun, and they'll wear a long sleeve shirt because it's hot. It's hot in the Philippines. And if you're mixing cement, you're carrying like hollow blocks to like, what a lot of times when they do construction here, if they're building a second floor, if you're building the second floor wall, they'll make a ramp, like a bamboo ramp, as steps to get up to the second floor, and you got to carry all those hollow blocks on your shoulder and carry it up that ramp, and then stack it on, and then a lot of times cement bags, sand, they got to carry it up there, mix the cement on the second floor and build. So you're out in the sun, and you're out in the sun, baking in the sun all day long. Usually they'll start early, they try to start early before the sun is up, maybe 7 a.m., but you'll be working till like 5 p.m. So it's hard work, man. Construction here is hard work. So a lot of those guys, it doesn't surprise me when they get off work at 5, they're ready for Red Horse. And then a lot of times they have too much Red Horse. They'll call in the next day and they're not showing up, So they're, very, stressful, especially if you got a deadline in your head, like you're trying to get the construction done fast before, like, let's say a lot of times people start construction in January or December, January. That way it's not during rainy season. So you're trying to get it done before July. You're trying to get the build done in 6-7 months. That way your house is completed or at least has a roof by the time the rainy season comes. So, when there's delays and it's taken them long to get anything done, and here comes the rainy season, another stress that's gonna come your way. But J-Boy is so right, man. In order for you to have a successful build here, a lot of times you have to be the project manager. You're the one going to the supply to buy the cement. You're the one going to the hardware store buying the material. So that way you know the price. I mean, you can send your workers, right, to get it for you and bring a receipt, but even that, things can go wrong with that, with the receipt, somebody writing overcharging on the receipt, because it's not like you're gonna buy all the material at like a Wilcon Depot or a Ace Hardware. A lot of times they'll buy it from some guy on the highway selling bamboo, selling hollow blocks, and the receipt is a piece of paper, or maybe if they come up with an official receipt, they'll just put somebody's first name, and then there's just things that will I've seen it before. If you build a house here, man, you're gonna get stressed here. I had a house built and rented a house across the street while it was being built. I did clean up in the evenings and kept A close eye. Oh, good, good, man. You know, it's like you almost have to hear too, right? Because like if you're building a house and there's material that you got in during the build, like steel, rebar steel, hollow blocks, cement. Man, somebody's gotta watch that. You know, like at nighttime. You know, because it might walk away. It might walk away, man. Yes, bagger boy here. And yeah, all right, peanut butter travels, right? I used to bag at the commissary. In the commissary, we had that cart, that metal cart. You stack it in the top and then the bottom, and the brown bag. You know, the brown bag in the U.S. Sometimes people request double bag my groceries, so you would double bag. You know, put the cans in the bottom, chips on top, and never put the bread, never put the eggs in the bottom. You know, so I know all about bagging groceries, man. I did that for many years. I was active duty military when I was bagging groceries at the commissary. I used to get really good tips because I worked at the hospital at the military base. So all my docs, all the doctors, the dentists, people that work in the hospital, they see me at the hospital. They like look surprised when they see me at the commissary. And then we work for tips. We don't get paid by the commissary. So we bag their groceries. We take them to the car, set it up in their car, and I used to have great tips from like my hospital personnel people. Yeah, Derek, right there, Derek. I know all about it, man. Baggers that come bag for tips. That was me, man. I had my apron. I had my apron. I had my little name tag. Gino, my Gino name tag. We actually had a boss. Like he's I guess he's in charge of us all the baggers. And we had to report to him every day. And we actually had to pay him. I don't remember. It was some amount, like $1 per day that we would work. It's a fund that we use, as because the aprons, the name tags, and he's got to keep an eye on who all are baggers, right? You can't just let anybody in the commissary. But we had to vote on who the guy is every year. Every year we had to vote to see who gets elected, who kind of like a president, who are president of the Baggers Union, the Baggers Union. JP, I've watched Seoul and Mactan Airport videos and will watch again. It's nice to be. Oh yeah, it's. I'm glad you're doing that. Mactan Airport, you're gonna like it, man. I've used Mactan Airport several times. You'll like that airport. There's enough to do there, enough to keep you busy, even if you have to wait for your flight to Katiklan. Reminds you of where you came from. It does, man. When I wear my Wendy shirt, I'm proud to wear it because it reminds me of my beginnings, right? I'm like, how they in the fast food industry, usually it's your first job, right? To most of my friends, I know most of our first jobs were either McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell. You get hired in high school. Junior year of high school, senior year of high school. Most of my friends, we all worked at some fast food place in Long Beach, California. I'm a t-shirt guy, so I think it's cool. All right, thanks, Michael. Always enjoy your live streams, Gene. All right, I'm glad, man. I'll keep doing them. As long as people enjoy the live stream, as long as I'm sharing good information, I'll keep doing them. Hello, sir. Love from India. All right, thank you from India. All right, man. I'm getting more and more people watching from India. I know maybe there's interest for people in India to come to the Philippines. I'm from Numancia, Aklan. Numancia, Aklan in the Philippines. Baskin Robin. I remember Baskin Robin. Baskin Robin ice cream used to be on all military bases. We have our BX or PX exchange. They always used to have a Baskin Robbins. It was Anthony's Pizza, Charlie's Philly cheesesteak, and then Baskin Robbins and Popeyes, and then Burger King. So there's always a Burger King inside the military base, I remember. I don't know if it's the same setup, but I know all about, is it 32 flavors? 32 flavors of Baskin Robbins, very popular at military bases. Peanut Butter Travels, we had to pay the head bagger so he can pay the yeah, I remember. See, Peanut Butter Travel knows, man. He bag groceries like me, man. So yeah, I remember That was it. The head bagger, he was like, we had to like, and we elected him every year. There's an election to elect who the head bagger is. And the head bagger, usually he doesn't bag groceries. Usually he's making sure there's no funny business going on. No, none of the baggers are playing around, doing anything dangerous. He kept us in line. He was kind of like the bagger police. The bagger police. He kept us all in line. And he would fire and hire people. He's the guy that you would approach to get hired. And he would also fire you if you're like messing up, if you're like coming to work drunk or a hangover or something. He'll like send you home. JP, hit the like before you forget. All right, thank you, JP. King, sir, you so kind-hearted person. I'll meet you one day, I think. It's all God's plan. All right. Be happy to meet people, man. I'm always open to meeting our subscribers, our viewers. If you go to Boracay, if you go to Calibo here, I'm always meeting people. As a matter of fact, there's Emilio. Emilio's gonna be here. His flight arrives tomorrow. He's gonna be in Calibo. He's actually staying at La Casa for a few days, La Casa Española, and then he's gonna go to Boracay for a few days. On vacation, he's not moving here to the Philippines, but he reached out to me. So that happens all the time. Almost every week, somebody reaches out to me and want me to like show them around in Calibo, show them around in Boracay. Not a problem. I'd be happy to do that. Of course, I have to look up my schedule too. If like Leanna's got school, if Dazzle's got plans. But if I'm available, I always do it. I love doing that. It's like I'm kind of like the welcome committee to like Calibo and Boracay. I like showing people what the Philippines is all about, the Filipino hospitality. I want to make sure that it's not dead. It's not dead. Filipinos, we're known for hospitality. We're known for that. And, I know at least for me, that's what I want to like keep doing. Keep being hospitable to people coming here. Belus, good morning. Wow, good morning. Way late. Farm meeting all morning. All right, hey man, you gotta keep those farm workers in line, Belus. It's like you gotta keep them in line. Keep them in line. But made it to say, oh, thank you, Belus. Appreciate it. God bless. Have an awesome day. Rain coming, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Oh, okay. I know on the Windy app, it looks like something's forming, but I went to the Pag-asa website. They haven't declared like a low pressure area or anything, but looks like east of you guys, east of Leyte, looks like there's something developing, but maybe tomorrow we'll get more information, but would not surprise me if it's rain. But today, man, it's like bright and sunny here, man. It's getting warm, actually. It's getting warm. JP, 4 hours, so maybe just inside the airport. Oh yeah, JP will, he'll be in a, after a long flight like that from the Seattle to Korea, you just want to get up, stretch, walk around, just like stretch around. I'm sure there's a restaurant, a cafe, or something in the airport that you'll see that. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining the live stream. Yes, King. Gino is a good and kind-hearted man. My brother from another. Hey, thank you. My brother from another. All right. Fortune. So, JP, from your place to Cielo, then Seoul, then to Cebu, then to Caticlan. Yep, that is the route. That is the route that, he's got a layover in Mactan. I think longer layover actually in Mactan than in Seattle. And then I will be picking him up in Caticlan when he lands in Caticlan. I will be the first face that, well, I guess not because he'll land in, but I'll be the first face that JP will see here in Aklan, in Panay Island. Hey, Toy. Hello, Blackie. Fortune, good AM Balloons from Fortune. Che wanted me to ask you, what is the language spoken where you are? All right. Here in Aklan, they speak Aklanon. And even the Aklanon here, like in Aklan, the different municipalities. There's like 17 municipalities here. They speak a little bit, they all can speak Aklanon together, but there's a little variety, right, Mom?
Yes,
Like
Hiligaynon,
Hiligaynon, Ilonggo, and
Malaynon.
Malaynom. Ilonggo, actually, Fortune had mentioned me to before, is Ilonggo is really not a language, it's the people. So, but the Hiligaynon is what's spoken, and Kiniray in Antique.
Kiniray, ah.
Kiniray, it's like, but even here in Aklan province, there's Boracaynon, Malaynon, there's just different varieties, but most of them can speak Aklanon. And it's not the same as Bisaya, the language in Cebuano. It's far from it. Even like Hiligaynon, that's the language was spoken in Iloilo and Bacolod and Capiz, they can't talk to each other. They can't understand each other, because I've seen that with my classmates in college, just the different dialects. Fortune, I would not leave the airport with that short of a layover. I am not that bold. JP, hello, Beloos. Derek, at Hickam BX, they replaced Anthony's. Oh, Anthony's Pizza. Okay. Who with Domino's. Okay, they have Popeyes, Subway, and Charlie's Subway. All right. Yeah, look, Popeye, Subway's kind of new to me. I don't remember Subway, but that's good. At least now it's Domino's that replaced Anthony's and Charlie's. I know Charlie's kind of like had the Philly cheesesteak is what I remember at Charlie's, but Popeyes was always there. Popeyes and Burger King was in most military bases that I went during my career. You always had a Popeyes and you always had a Burger King. In India, 6 a.m. All right, thank you, King. 6 a.m. in India. Belus, just tropical 4, 5, and 6. We flood out. That's the meeting was prevention. All right. Hey, that's good, man. It's like preventive. Anything you can prevent from flooding. That's good thinking ahead, brother. Good thinking ahead. I'm sure you're always thinking ahead like that anyway. Mactan layover is 7 hours. That's not too bad. I mean, 7 hours, there's enough there. There's enough cafes, walk around, read a book, read your messages, it's like going to live, watch a live stream. Watch Watch some YouTube while you're at the airport. Ryan AP, all right. Shaka, Ryan. Belus, you have to look way ahead here to be successful in anything you do, whether being true that. I believe it. JP, how is Totoy doing? Yes, Totoy, you spelled it correctly. Totoy, she's always in that corner. I still walk, of course I walk her in during the morning and the afternoon. We noticed that Toto has been more affectionate to us. Maybe she can kind of sense that, there's kind of like, we're all still kind of grieving. We're all kind of still a little low, a little sad. But maybe that's why. Maybe she's always like, she's more sweet, right,
Papansin.
Papansin. Mom said she's more papansin. Like, she'll like waggle her tail, come up to us, Hiligaynon, Kiniraya, Aklanon, Capisnon, the majors in Panay. There you go. Thank you, Fortune. And that's what I said. Mom mentioned Ilonggo, but like I told Mom, Ilonggo is not really a language. Ilonggo is the people. But most people refer to Ilonggo like the language. But, Fortune explained how that works for me. It's actually, Hiligaynon is actually the language. And then there will be dialects within the province. Yeah, many different varieties of the dialects. I think you're good, gamer. All right. Master Yoda delivers again. All right. I can speak Hiligaynon and Kiniraya aside from Filipino and English. I can understand others like Bisaya, but can't speak. Oh, that's good, man. I've noticed like the Hiligaynon, I can pick up, I can understand. Same thing with Aklanon. I hear it so often, I just have trouble speaking it. You know, when I hear it from Mom, Leanna, and Dazzle, I can kind of understand what they're talking. And then I always ask Leanna, what did the person say? You know, Leanna's kind of like my interpreter. Is airport Wi-Fi trustworthy? For me, JP, here in the Philippines, one rule of thumb for me here with Wi-Fi, when I'm using Wi-Fi, I don't log in or log out of any website. You know, that's just my rule of thumb. It's kept me safe from like being hacked. You know, I haven't had the problem about being hacked. So if I'm using a Wi-Fi anywhere in the Philippines, I don't use my login or log into anything, right? You know, it's like because that's how I think, you know, a lot of your passwords get stolen. So if you're in the airport, just go into like YouTube without logging in, or you know, just like Google. You know, don't use your like username and password at any Wi-Fi anywhere, you know, in the Philippines. That's just me, you know. It's like for, you know, especially bank accounts. You know, do not use like a public Wi-Fi for like logging into your bank account, logging into like anything that handles money. It's kept me safe here. It's kept me safe here for 14 years. I've never had an issue being hacked with my accounts because I don't. All that activity, I leave it here in the house because I know it's not a shared Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is password protected. I'm the only one using my Wi-Fi here. You know, I don't think I have neighbors here that are hackers. I don't think I have neighbors here that are hackers. But a public Wi-Fi, I wouldn't trust a public. I know people buy that. What is that? The protection. I forget the name. VPN. I don't even trust VPN, to tell you the truth. You know, I just do not log into anything outside of my house, especially bank accounts or, you know, data that I want to be secured. Recently, I played GTA 6. One scam delivered GTA modified version in India. All right, King. Totoy for a female puppy. Usually, yes, we call her Totoy because Totoy we adopted Totoy when we got here. They were building our house still. Totoy was a stray dog here, and the construction worker here in the province, they called any dog. It doesn't matter, male, female. They'll go Totoy, Totoy, you know, to call the puppy. It's like Totoy, Totoy. So she responded to that. Totoy was like, when she hears Totoy, she responded. So we figured we didn't want to confuse Totoy, so we called her Totoy. Actually, in Iloilo province, Hiligaynon is dominant in Iloilo City and near towns. But if you go to Iloilo mountain towns, they speak Kiniray. But most need to speak Hiligaynon because it's the major. Yeah. I've heard all the languages just because for my classmates when I attended college, because we had classmates at STI colleges from Antique, from Iloilo, from Capiz. Among the major of Panay.
Karay, there's a place that speak Karay na Iloilo.
In Iloilo too, yeah, because they're so close. They're border, they're border towns, you know. Yeah, Iloilo and Iloilo and Antique, they're border towns, so they're like rub against each other. So you get a mixture when anytime you're like within the border, they'll speak both languages, both dialects a lot of times, and then sometimes a variety of it. You know, they'll mix it, kind of like Taglish, like the Tagalog English. You know, they'll have like a version of like a combination. But for the most part, like for me, I speak Tagalog. I'm fluent in Tagalog. Anywhere I go in the Philippines, I just speak Tagalog, and everybody understands Tagalog. I have not had I've not met a Filipino in my life that if I speak Tagalog doesn't understand Tagalog. 1 month recharge, $4, unlimited. Oh wow, that's pretty cheap internet there, King. Lowell, hey Lowell, kumusta? Kumusta kapatid? Mabuti naman ako, Lowell. God bless. God bless my brother. Sorry. Oh, no worries, man. You know, it's like I'm sorry you had a rough day, but it's like some days are like that. You know, hopefully your day gets better, Lowell. God bless. God bless, my brother. JP, hello, Lowell. Good AM, Lowell from Fortune. Hey, JP. I think India has better internet than the Philippines, but here you can already live live and live with what you have. Yeah, you know, it's like that's always me, man. You know, it's like Kalibo cable now. You know, my internet is fiber optic. I pay 1,400 a month, about $25 a month for like 9 years. So to me, you know, I'm sure I can, even like Starlink and all that maybe down the road, but I'm fine. You know, it's like it's the cheapest I can get here. So it's like for what we do, you know, it's fine. It's fine. On my layover at Manila, I ate Subway. All right, all right. Again, I'm trying to think. There used to be a Subway in Boracay. Unfortunately, it closed a couple of years ago. I do miss Subway. I used to go to that one in Boracay all the time. I'm trying to think if Iloilo City's got a Subway. I don't think Iloilo City even has a Subway. I have not seen a Subway here in Panay Island. I remember when I had a layover in Manila one time, flying back to Calibo, I had a Papa John's. Man, I was like at the airport, sitting at the airport, I go, Papa John's? I was like in shock. You know, it's like Papa John's. You know, that pizza where like the butter garlic dipping. I was like, whoa, man! It's like I had a couple of slices of Papa John's at the airport in Manila. Mom, sa mountains, Karaya sila. Karaya? Karaya. It's a mountain. Karaya. Fortune says Karaya. Do they speak Tagalog there? Yes, pretty much anywhere you go. Like I said, I have not seen a place that I've gone in the Philippines, and I've traveled Luzon, Visayas. Not in Mindanao. I haven't gone to Mindanao. But pretty much everywhere in Luzon, Visayas, I've traveled. Tagalog is widely spoken because Tagalog is the language that they see on TV. So it's like it's hard for a Filipino that not to watch TV, right? So if they watch TV, they're gonna understand Tagalog. I need to learn something new. I have been studying Tagalog and Bisaya. All right, focus on the Tagalog, Lowell. You will use that more anywhere you go in the Philippines. Is Tagalog. Bisaya, it depends. Regional. Bisaya is regional. If you go here to Aklan, if you plan on going to Panay Island, not many people speak Bisaya here because it's a different dialect and languages here. Dazzle doesn't know Bisaya, but she knows Hiligaynon, she knows Aklanon, so the Ilonggo people, she can speak with the people in Iloilo City, people in Bacolod City. Dazzle can converse with them because grandma was from Bacolod. Leon, Tubungan, Maasin,
Yeah.
Lambunaw, etc. Fortune. All right, all right.
Karaya. Ibig ako.
In your example, Gino, your classmates from Antique who can't speak Aklanon will speak Hiligaynon just because everyone knows that. Yeah, it's like, even I went up with my class, I used to get confused with them because like, Dazzle will try to explain it to me because like, you could tell like they were speaking like different languages while I was going to school in Calibo. Hello, Fortune, GP, all right. I have not been to Korea. Well, ask my brother. He got his master's degree in Catholic University of Korea. Korea, to me, man, it's just grown so much. I was in Korea back in the 80s. I was there 87 to 88 was when I was in Korea. And back then, Korea was like just the Philippines. It's like the Philippines. It's like a developing country. And they just boomed during the 90s and 2000s. They just boomed because, Samsung, Hyundai, Kia, there was just a big they just got rich. They got rich really fast. But when I was in Korea in the 80s, man, Korea was just like the Philippines. There's a lot of rice fields. Where the place I was, the main city was Seoul, but even Seoul back then wasn't as humongous it is now. Outside Seoul, it was like mostly farms when I lived in Korea. But now, they're one of the richest countries in Southeast Asia. Will revert. I was going to edit that last mention to ask recommendations. Kiniraya is the official name of the language. Karaya is the shortened. Oh, okay, so shorter version. All right. The only thing I've heard before is Kiniraya. I've heard that. Karaya is new to me, but now I know it's the shorter version. Lowell, is there a good Chinese with a good stir fry in Kalibo? There's only one Chinese food that I know of, and it's Lanang. It's on the Asia Pacific Medical Center, bottom floor of the Asia Pacific Medical Center in Kalibo. I don't think they do a stir fry per order, like a stir fry, but they do have all the Chinese dishes that typical, like beef and broccoli, char siu pork, fried rice, different types of fried rice. That is the closest Chinese food that I've seen similar to Chinese food that I've had in the United States, in Kalibo. Now in Boracay, you got more Chinese restaurants in Boracay. Boracay used to be like, million, like hundreds of thousands of Chinese used to go to Boracay. They don't go now, but there are still many Chinese restaurants in Boracay. Stir fry, you can get that if you go to Boracay Island. But in Kalibo, no. In Kalibo, one Chinese restaurant that I know of and would recommend. Lanang, that's my favorite Chinese food in Kalibo. I eat there for the last 2 birthdays. That's where I celebrated my birthday. Was Lanang Chinese. Very good fried rice, very good egg rolls. Exactly the same Chinese food that I used to eat in the United States. Fortune, JP, he said there's a Shake Shack in Incheon. Oh, Shake Shack! Shake Shack, all right. Incheon Airport. That's new, man. If you go to Loteria, it's a Korean, but it has Western food. All right. Thanks, I will have enough time to walk around and see what my stomach tells me. Yeah. Like a McDonald's. Here in the Philippines, McDonald's here, the shortcut is McDo. McDo. If you hear that term McDo, that person means McDonald's here in the Philippines. I haven't enjoyed Mickey D's. See, that's the difference. In the US, people call the shortcut for McDonald's is Mickey D's. I'm eating at Mickey D's. Here in the Philippines, people here call a McDo. I'm eating a McDo. Very popular. McDonald's, Mickey D's here, JP, very popular here in the Philippines. But what's funny is like, it's popular here in the Philippines, but generally when people eat at McDonald's here, they eat fried chicken. That's the main, or spaghetti. That's what they order here at McDonald's. When I go to McDonald's, very few order like the quarter pounder or the Big Mac. When I'm eating at McDonald's, I'm looking around in Kalibo, right? Everybody's ordering fried chicken and rice and gravy, or fried chicken and spaghetti. That's what they're ordering, and they like to order like the sundae, the chocolate sundae or caramel sundae, and French fries, and they'll dip the French fries in the caramel sundae. It's like I actually tried it, but I was like, that's kind of odd, but I tried it because I was seeing people. I like caramel sundaes, so one time I tried the French fries, but that's a common thing. So don't freak out when you see that, JP. When you see your Filipina date order like a caramel or chocolate sundae and the French fries, and they dip their French fries in the sundae. Don't freak out. That's a common thing. That's a common thing with Filipinos. And pretty much, if you go on a date with a Filipina, they're gonna order fried chicken and rice and gravy at McDonald's or spaghetti. They're not. I've yet to see a Filipina order like a Big Mac or like a quarter pounder with cheese. I remember on military bases, they did Mongolian barbecue, 20 cents an ounce. Oh yeah, Mongolian barbecue, man. Derek, when Clark Air Base in the Philippines was open, man, they had like a Mongolian barbecue night at the Airman's Club every Wednesday night. You know, it's like a big tray, like look like it's a heated tray, and that's where they would cook the Mongolian barbecue. You just get your bowl, puts all kinds of meat, all kinds of vegetables, and you give your bowl to the guy, and the guy will cook it in that thing. Man, it was like amazing. So very popular Mongolian. You don't see that here. You don't see. I have not seen like a Mongolian a barbecue style like that. I'm sure probably in Manila, I'm sure Fortune knows that something similar like that. But here in Aklan, unfortunately, in Panay Island, I have not seen any type of Mongolian barbecue here. I remember as a young child, my father taking me to a fast food burger place called Burger Chef. Many years ago, Burger Chef. I have not had Burger Chef. No, I've not had that, man. My go-to when I was in California and then Arizona, my go-to always was like In-N-Out Burger. I love In-N-Out Burger and Tommy's Burger. Tommy's Burger, it's a burger and they got chili on top, but the chili is not like with beans. It's like their own special chili, and they'll have like onions, raw onions a lot of times, and jalapeno peppers. And then sometimes they have like on the side, you can eat a whole jalapeno or a banana pepper, and you can bite it and eat a burger. You know, Tommy's Burger, very popular, very popular in like Los Angeles County. But In-N-Out, it's like, that's like, I think they were, at one time they were talking about In-N-Out to open one in Manila, but it hasn't made it. In-N-Out Burger hasn't made it yet to the Philippines. Is there a Philippine dish that is a meat and vegetable stir fry? Okay, I'm trying to think. Meat and vegetable stir fry. I can't think of one. The closest thing, I guess pancit, because it's noodles, but it's a noodle dish. But there's not like a stir fry. Yeah, I can't think of a Filipino dish that's like maybe chop suey, but you don't have a lot of meat in chop suey a lot of time. A lot of chop suey here in the Philippines is basically vegetable. I can't think of any. Maybe Fortune can think of a dish that's like meat and vegetables. Good morning, y'all from Ray. Sorry I'm late. All right, Ray. Good morning, Ray. Fortune, Pinoys think they will not be full with a burger, chicken and rice. Will for them, right? I know. Filipinos here, a burger to a Filipino is not a meal. That's what when they order a burger is a snack here, like a merienda, like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Between lunch and dinner, that's a burger. Like I'll get a burger for like a snack. They don't look at a burger because the Filipino burgers are tiny. Even at Jollibee, when you order like their burger, but I'm trying to forget the name, but they're like tiny. Like for me, they're like a kid burger. They're Jollibee, the burger or the cheeseburger. They're tiny, and then there's nothing in it. It's like a really thin patty, small bun, and a cheese, or without the cheese. But it's cheap. I mean, it's really inexpensive. It's less than $1, but it's not a real full-size burger. When a burger for an American, it's like a Big Mac. It's like a double patty or a quarter pounder of meat. Quarter pounder with cheese. It's like with lettuce. Tomato. It's a big size. You gotta like open your mouth to like eat. That's a burger. Here, Filipinos really aren't that big on that. That's why. Fortune saying most Filipinos, when they go to McDonald's, they will order chicken, rice, and gravy, or chicken and spaghetti at McDonald's here. Good AM, Ray. Good morning, Fortune from Ray. All right, JP, I have dipped a French fry. I dipped a French fry or two other than ketchup. I have dipped a fry or two in things other than ketchup. Yeah, me, it's like I like French fries and I use mayonnaise. I don't know where I get that, but I like it. I like French fries with mayonnaise. I prefer it actually than ketchup. I don't know where I learned it, but it's I always like home if we have French fries, I prefer mayonnaise instead of ketchup. When you see your Pinay GF like that, dipping her fries in the chocolate sundae, she could be for keeps. She could be for keeps. That's what Fortune is saying. Because, right, Fortune, Filipinos do that. The first time I saw that, I was like, what's going on here? It's like I saw it. I was with Dazzle at the time, and it wasn't Dazzle that did it. It was like another table. And I just noticed, and it's usually like the college students, younger people at the time. And I was like looking, they all had sundaes, chocolate sundae, and you could tell all they had was a chocolate sundae, a French fries on the side, and they were like dipping their French fries on the sundae. And I noticed that, and I was like, I've never seen that before, but that's a thing. That's a thing here. That's one of the things they do here. Hello, Ray. Hey, JB. Fortune, what if she asked me to take the balut? Yeah, normally you don't hear that. And usually the Filipina were really not, if you're on a farm, if you're like a foreigner in the Filipina, usually they don't introduce you to balut till later on the relationship. Because that can turn off a foreigner from a Filipina, right? I know guys like here in the foreigners here. If you eat that balut, I ain't kissing you. I've heard that. I've heard that from foreigners. So a lot of times the Filipinas, balut is introduced in the relationship way down the line. When you really know the foreigner and the Filipinas already comfortable with each other is when the foreigner finds out that the Filipina likes balut. I have dip fries in Frosty at Wendy's, but not a sundae. All right. Or I remember the Frosty, man. That was popular at Wendy's, and that we get many orders of that Frosty. We got many orders of that Frosty and our chili. Our chili was really popular at Wendy's. You have to take her, JP. So no tampo. That's right. Plus that's a good place to take a Filipina on a date. It's like a McDonald's or Jollibee. That's a good place to take a Filipina to eat because more likely she's gonna like the food there. It's like if you take her to like a fancy restaurant and she's got to order from the menu, she might not recognize the menus. It's like, especially if it's like more catered to like an expat. If you're going to like a place that serves more American food, take her to McDonald's, Mickey D's. Take her to Mickey D's. That will because McDonald's here, Mickey D's here in the Philippines, it costs more than Jollibee. It's like the budget fast food here is Jollibee. McDonald's a little pricier than Jollibee here. Karen had 2 servings of balut last night, and then she and James went home. That was the finale. 2 balut at night. You can try, Ray. All right, maybe menudo. Said hi. Yeah, menudo, kind of like, there's like in menudo, there's potatoes, there's carrots, and there's usually pork or beef in menudo. So, but it's not stir fry. Like I know, like stir fry. I know what Lowell is thinking, like stir fry of like cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, peas, all that stir fried with some kind of meat. You'll just have to do that at home. You can get the ingredients, and you'll just have to cook it at home, Lowell. You just won't find it in restaurants. Chop suey is probably the closest to stir fry that you'll see here in the Philippines. And usually chop suey here, it'll have little bitty bits of pork or chicken, not much meat in it. So you might have to order a side of like a meat dish to eat with your chop suey. Chop suey basically is kind of like vegetables. Yeah, right there. Fortune says chop suey has little itty bitty pieces of meat. You know, see, that's the difference between Americans and Filipinos. Americans like to eat their meat. You know, when an American says, I want to eat meat, it's like a big chunk of meat, like a steak. You know, like for a Filipino, eating a big steak, that's not normal for a Filipino. Most Filipinos, a big steak, that will feed a family of 10. You know, they'll chop up that steak in tiny bits of pieces and mix vegetables in it. So it's, you know, for them, like if I throw a plate of like all meat in front of Dazzle or in front of Mom or Liena, they're gonna go, am I supposed to eat it this way? You know, it's like, it's gonna be so foreign to them to like have your plate and the steak is like occupies the whole plate. Filipinos just don't eat like that. I mean, more and more Filipinos eat that's getting westernized. You know, that's why, you know, the rich people, rich Filipinos. But here in the province, you won't see it. You won't see Filipinos eating steak here or big pieces of pork chop. You know, like you know how in the U.S. you know you get a pork chop is thick pork chop. They'll kind of cut the middle, put stuffing in it, put apples in it. You don't see Filipinos eat that here. With their pork chop here is like really thin, really skinny. You know, really thin and skinny. And then pork, when it's added to like vegetables, they're like little tiny like bite size, not even bite size. Sometimes you can't recognize whether is this pork or is this chicken. You can't tell what the meat is. More vegetables in the dishes. Correct. Burger is merienda or snack. A Pinoy meal is complete with rice. Yeah, a Filipino, when there's no rice, that's not a meal. That's not a meal to a Filipino. You know, it's like that the rice completes the meal. Rice, a meat dish, a vegetable dish, that's a meal. Without the rice, that's not a meal. If it's a burger and fries, that's not a meal. Spaghetti is not a meal to a Filipino, right? Like in the US, if I had pasta, big bowl of pasta, that's a meal, you know, with like garlic bread, right? That's a meal in the US. Here, a big bowl of pasta and bread, that's just a snack, man. And a couple of hours later, Filipinos say, oh, it's time for dinner? You know, it's like, are we ready to eat? Because they gotta have the rice, man. To make it a meal here in the Philippines, gotta have the rice. Fortunate, our Big Macs here are now small Macs. Yeah, I know, right? I know, Fortune. I think I ordered, it's been a while since I had a Big Mac, but it is not big. It's a small Mac. Right, Fortune, menudo apretada might have some potato or carrot, but definitely meat forward. Yep. Ray, I like mustard and ketchup mixed for fries. And Ray, that's another thing. Mustard is not common here. If you eat at a fast food place here and you ask for mustard, it's not common. You're gonna have a hard time. Even like if I go to 7-Eleven, right? 7-Eleven's got all those hot dogs. They got a hot dog, right? They don't have mustard. I mean, you know, to us it's kind of like, what? No mustard on a hot dog? You know, they'll have relish. They'll have like mayonnaise. They'll have ketchup and relish, but no mustard. Mustard is hard to find. Even at the grocery store, you will have a hard time buying mustard here. JP, Filipinos just aren't into mustard. I guess that's why it's not common. You know, it's like even at the grocery, who would buy it? The Filipino, you know, it's mostly foreigners would buy mustard here. There is a brand that's a mustard here that I see. I forget the name, but there is a brand. Sometimes I see it in the market, but not. They don't keep it in stock. A lot of times you go to the supermarket here and you ask for mustard. They always tell you not available. My menudo is Tex-Mex. Yeah, I know the menudo style that you're talking about, GP. I like that with the garbanzo beans and all that. I've had that in when I lived in Texas, in San Antonio. tripe, yeah, tripe, homily, the homily, yeah, I know all about that. That's a good that's a good like hangover. You know, it's a good menudo is like good for hangover. That's what they say anyway. It's good for hangover. Chili powder. Yep. What's your name? Gino. Gino is my name, brother. JP, menudo sides on fresh onions, limes, corn tortilla. Yeah, I remember that, man. You're giving me flashbacks of my time in San Antonio, Texas, and even in Arizona and Tucson. I could get menudo. I can get menudo with the food trucks. Food trucks, I remember in Tucson, they would have menudo. That was my favorite thing at Wendy's. You could substitute chili for fries. And so you make a chili burger. Yeah, chili burger. Yeah. JP, Gino, I can ask if she wants to go to Burger King and then it's an overnight trip. It's an right? You know, they got Burger King, but it's in Iloilo City. So it would be an overnight trip because, it's a 3.5-hour drive to Iloilo City from Calibo. Michael, why do Filipinas eat a lot? Good to me. Filipinas just like food, man. It's like you hear the term here, food is life. Food is life. Filipinos love to eat. It's like that's kind of like I guess because here in the Philippines, going out eating is kind of like an event for people. It's like bonding with friends. You rarely see anybody eat here by themselves. I would challenge you to go to McDonald's, go to Jollibee, and see a Filipino eating by themselves. It's not a common occurrence here in the Philippines. Usually when people go to McDonald's or Burger King or to a restaurant, they're with other people. In the US, I went to restaurants all the time by myself. It don't bother me. It's like, but here it's, I think it's that going somewhere with a group of friends, that's always, but if you want to make your Filipina happy, keep feeding your Filipina, keep taking your Filipina out to eat. She will be happy. She will be happy. You will not get tampo. You will not get tampo if you're feeding your Filipina really well and taking her out. See, here in the Philippines, a trip to Jollibee, a trip to McDonald's, that's a date, man. That's a date. Imagine that. Go out on a date with a Western woman in America and you tell that Western woman, I'm taking you to McDonald's. And you might get like, you'll never hear from her. Click, it's like a goodbye. Here in the Philippines, to take a lady to eat at McDonald's or Jollibee, that's a date, man. That's a date. They're happy they're excited to go to Jollibee if you take them to Jollibee or McDonald's. JP, can that put a scoop of rice on a burger? Pinoy burger? I've not seen that. But I have seen Filipinos, man. I have seen Filipinos where they would have chicken. You see this. Oh, this is a perfect example. You would see this at pizza, at Shakey's Pizza. Shakey's Pizza is very popular. It's an American pizza. Shakey's an American company. You can find Shakey's pretty much anywhere you go. Like even in Calibo, we have a Shakey's, right? They got a plate at Shakey's. JP, it's kind of like a combo plate, right? And this is the plate that they have a special usually at Shakey's. They'll have a slice of pizza, they'll have spaghetti, they'll have a piece of fried chicken, and they'll have rice and gravy. That's a plate. I'm like, man, that's like, you would never see that combo, right? Like in the US, like that's a weird looking combo. Like I'm eating pizza, I'm eating fried chicken, I'm eating rice, it's like, and spaghetti, all in one, all in a one person plate. That's an order. That's like their kind of specialty. That's a popular plate when you go to a Shakey's pizza here. You just don't. So you get your rice with your pizza, but I've not seen you get your rice with a burger. I don't see that combo. Most Filipinos, I haven't seen that, but you will see if you go to Shakey's that combination of pizza, spaghetti, fried chicken, and rice and gravy. It's like that's a meal, man. If you're not full with that meal, it's like. Have you ever ate Texas Roadhouse in Cebu? I have not. The last time I had Texas Roadhouse was in Tucson, Arizona. I have not eaten at Texas Roadhouse. Dazzle doesn't eat steak. Dazzle's never had steak, so it's not like a big thing. Like I said, to a Filipina, that especially in the province, they've never had steak. So to them, looking at a big chunk of meat, like however ounce, like when you eat steak at Texas Roadhouse, usually your plate, and usually the steak occupies the whole plate, and maybe a baked potato or something, or French fries. But that's just not a common meal. That's for a they're not really like used to eating that. That won't be like attractive for them to eat. They might try it, but I'll be surprised if they can finish like a good sized steak. McCormick, that's it. Thanks, Ray. I couldn't think, in my head, it's McCormick mustard is what you'll see here. That's common here, brand here in the Philippines. Thank you, Ray. Menudo will cure balut PTSD. Okay, for balut PTSD. All right. Hey babe, there's Dazzle. She's awake. Hello, babe.
Morning, guys.
All right. I have to go take the car, babe, to Toyota Aklan at 10. So I'm gonna finish this live stream. So, did you want to go?
Yes.
Okay, Dazzle wants to go. Dazzle and I, we've been kind of like going places together. We're like together 24/7 because like I don't want Dazzle to get sad, and same thing with me. We kind of like help each other, through our grieving process. We're like 24/7. We're like together. She doesn't even, usually Dazzle stays here on the first floor when I'm sleeping at nighttime already, but now she's staying in our room. She don't want to be alone here downstairs. Because before, when she was here by herself, Chloe used to be here. So we're still trying to, work through our thing. It's going to be a while, the grieving with Chloe is going to take us a while. My favorite Mexican restaurant here charges $11.50 a bowl for menudo. It's not as good as mine. I bet, man. Homemade is always better, right? JP. I heard of YouTube many times. If you take a Filipina to eat meat, you are in. I love good steak. Belus, I love good steak. Man, I have not eaten steak, Belus. I have not eaten steak. The last time I ate steak was 2016. I remember it because my good friend from Hawaii, he visited me here. We hanged out in Boracay, and he wanted to eat steak. So we had, at the time, Cowboy Cocina in Station 3 in Boracay. They served steak. So that was the last time I ate steak. I have not eaten a steak after that. When I lived in Hawaii, I saw burger and rice in the moment. Mom and pop. All right, probably loco moco is probably what you saw, Lowell. That's common. That's a common dish. It's kind of like a burger with gravy and rice and egg on top. That's a popular Hawaiian dish. I've had the loco moco before. Bill, which is an import store, has Grey Poupon. Hey, the Grey Poupon actually and Dijon mustard, once in a while I do see it. There usually, when you go to Save More or SM Cherry, there's like a one rack with like fancy imported goods. And I have seen Grey Poupon and Dijon mustard once in a while. But they don't stock it all the time. If you see it, you better grab it. Same thing with jalapeno peppers. When I see jalapeno peppers, I'm grabbing all the bottles because it's not common, like in Calibo, to purchase. You will have a hard time finding jalapeno peppers in a bottle, right? In a bottle, jalapeno peppers in Calibo. Same thing with that. Good morning, Dazzle from Ray. All right. JP, the sheriff is in the room. All right, sheriff. Love the shirt. All right, Blues. Hey, man, I gotta represent, man. I was a former employee of Wendy's, so I gotta represent. Brings back a lot of good memories for me during my younger years of working at fast food at Wendy's. Belus, Texas Roadhouse, 5-star in Cebu. All right. Yeah, I bet you pay. You get the 5-star price too. You get what you pay for. my posse, bro. Hey, Daniel, good to see you. Good to see you, Daniel. From my good friend in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, Belus, I just checked. 4,000 pesos for a 16-ounce steak. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 4,000 pesos, man. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, man. Hey, that's a week grocery for us. And one plate of steak, JP. That's 1 week grocery for us. 4,000. That's a lot of groceries for us. Try also Mamu restaurant. Don't know if they have in Cebu or Iloilo. I have not seen that. I've not seen Mamu. Texas Roadhouse is on my list 1-2 times a year. All right, Daniel. JP. They do have a steakhouse now in Boracay, Wolfgang's Steakhouse in Boracay, Nucos. That's and I know they have steak. They serve steak at I think Rumbas. Rumbas is a sports bar in D Mall. They do have steaks there. And of course, the fancy restaurants in Boracay. If you're staying at like the Shangri-La, Discovery Shores, I'm sure they have like a steak at those places. And more often they'll serve you like Australian beef. Daniel, hello from GP. All right, I got to the end of the comments. I'm going to end the live stream here. I'm going to go over, Dazzle and I, we're going to go to Toyota Aklan, get our car serviced. Thank you so much for joining the live stream this morning. I appreciate everybody's time. Take care, everyone. Please stay blessed. Good day, Daniel. All right. Have a great day, everyone.